Alright everybody, welcome to the DaVinci Resolve Rookie Green Screen Tutorial. I know you clicked this for a reason because you're ready to jump in and learn about green screens. Let's go ahead and knock it out. Let's just go ahead and click, get it rolling. I'm not going to give you too big of a, hey, this is how you do X, Y, and Z or run down a bunch of stuff. We're just going to talk about green screens. You know, anything that needs to be done in between here and there, we'll do it. But click DaVinci Resolve first to open it. Bam, super easy, right? We got that rocking and rolling for us. Takes it a couple seconds to load. First window you're going to see is this guy. Just got some projects where all your stuff lives. Just click new project. Title it whatever you want. We're going to do new test and create. Bam. Pulls it right up. Here we are, DaVinci Resolve. I'm working on a few screens here, so I will run through this just in case you haven't seen it before. This is the Media tab, this is the Cut tab, Edit tab, Fusion, Color, Fairlight, Delivery, which is basically I'm creating it. It's kind of a workflow you work with. Starting out, just click your little file button, find a file that you want to work with. Like here, and I'm just going to click it, drag it, and drop it. I guess I need to explain this. This is it says that you have a different frame rate than the current project, or the clips have a different frame rate than the current project. I'm just going to go ahead and change it to, I'll close this. That basically just changed our timeline down here to the same frame rate. I think this was filmed at 30 frames per second. It changed this to 30 frames per second. If you do ever want to change any of that stuff, there's a little gear icon over here. You can go through, you can change the resolution of what you're working with, you can change the frame rate, all that good stuff. And just hit, cancel to close it. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a couple timelines down here. Easy way to do it, grab your little clip, pull it down here, boom, it's automatically going to create a timeline. It's going to plug your test video in here, or whatever video you're working with, whatever media, you're good to go. This little button right here, it's a little plus button, it's going to add more lines. It's going to add, so it just added another video line, and it just added another audio line, right? So this is audio down here, video here. For the sake of what we're doing, going to move this up to line 2. We have to remember with what we're doing, we're creating layers, basically layer upon layer with this area right here as far as green screens. I am going to need some more media to put behind this, so once again I'm just going to open my little file right here. I've got this nice little street that I want to drop in, and in a minute we'll come back to that. We're going to get right into it now, so here we go. Alright, first thing we need to do, we've got our file imported, we need to come over here to our color page. Color page is where we're going to be doing pretty much everything that we need to be doing with this green screen. So you've got your viewer showing us what's going on, we've got our timelines down here, this is video 2, video 1, we don't have anything in yet. These guys down here all control what the colors, the shadows, the midtones, all that. So you can play with those. That's just to get a main grade, a color grade. If you ever want to reset that stuff, just click that little button right here, reset, or you can just reset all of them with that button. But that's not important. What we're working on right now, very specifically, green screen. So, first thing I like to do is, actually, we'll start the beginner version so we can see it all. So, to do this green screen, I've got a qualifier. This qualifier is going to select a color that I select. It can be any color. It can be this white color over here. It can be the Dawn of the Dead, red over here. It could be a couch in the background, but we want the green, right? So, clicking the selector, which is an eyedropper, I'm going to pull that color out of there. So now, if you saw this little screen up here, it's taken and selected all this green color here. I know, you're the same as me. You're like, well, I can't tell anything that's going on. How do I zoom in on that screen? Blah, blah. We don't have to do all that. We have to do this anyway. So we're going to right click over here. This is the nodes area. We're going to right click and we're going to add an alpha output. We're going to drag this little blue line from that blue line to that blue line, color coded. Imagine that. Boom. Now we can see what we actually selected. I still don't like the view like that either. I like to see what's left over. So what I do is I go down here again. This is controlling what we're seeing, and I'm going to invert it. So now I see what I actually selected and what's left. Quick tool. So if obviously I want to select more colors, right? So I've still got this thing selected. If I click this, it's just going to select that color range. If like, oh, I don't like that, I click this, it's going to select that color range again. All I'm doing is just pulling one color. I need to add more shades of green. So if I go back over here to a selector and I click the plus sign, which means I'm adding a color, right? So now I can click this and, oh, okay, now we're getting better. I want to click, this little area. We'll click some of this green over here and some of this green. Some of this green, a little bit more of this green. We'll get close to here in this green. Invest in one of these. It doesn't have to be wired, but the roller, when you have the roller, you can zoom in just by rolling up, zoom out by rolling out. Once you're zoomed in, I can click the roller and I can move stuff. So it makes it easier to squeeze in on some of these little pixeled colors that I'm looking for. If I want this little color right here, that pulls out some greens. Here's something fun too. So let's say I get real close to here and I click that. That one did okay. But if you get too close, what you do, let's say I click this. See how it started to take out some of my shirt? Started to chop that off. It got part of my skin here. We don't want that. There's other ways to get around that. So I'll just hit Control Z to undo that. And I'm leaving this here very specifically because I want to show you something. Here, I'm going to hit play for a second too. Just to run through. What I like to do is on some of these, you get like a basic color selection. And I know I'll move my arms here in a second. I want to show you something. So back up. So this right here. The reason this happened, the reason these colors showed back up, is because I'm sitting really close to the screen, right? Like you can see this. I put this here so we can see it. Two things that we're going to be working on fixing. One is this, which is the line that's in the screen here. And where I'm sitting so close, when I raise my arms up, if you see behind me right now, the shadow is being cast on that. So it changed the color scope, the green color on the back of the screen. So if you set up a good green screen, your lighting should be really good. You should be further away from it, not casting a shadow on the back of it, right? For us, we're going to try to just select this little area and see if we can get rid of most of it doing that. I think, it'll do an okay job here. We'll try to even select a little bit more. And, it's okay. It's a rough run just so we can show it. So I selected those. We're going to keep playing for a second. Yeah, this little spot right here. See how it just flared up right here? I'll zoom in, see if we can grab one of those colors to lighten it up. Probably be okay. Boom, boom. But I'm going to back it up here. The big ones I want to work with, and what's going to clean it up a little bit. Get it to a better frame here. So if we'll look over here, what's really left is these lines right here, right? You see those? Those are going to be really hard to get to. What we want to do, and here's a great spot to show too. So right here, these lines here, and these lines right here. We want those to go away, but if we select some of this, see, it's going to grab too much color, and it's going to take some stuff out. So we'll just Control Z, back that up. Over here, where it says the finesses, we're just going to come down. This is denoise, clean black, clean white, blur radius, in and out. I want to clean up the black area because the black area is what I've got selected. So what I'm going to do is just click clean black and I'm going to drag it over. You notice how it's increasing in number down there? It's just basically showing how much You know, look, so if we go all the way down to nothing, see, it's not doing anything. The more I drag that up, the more it cleans up and kind of hides that, kind of pre-selects a little bit more of those areas. So for what we're doing, I'm okay with that. You see, it's cleaned it up pretty well. It's probably a little fuzzy here and there, but you know, it is what it is. For a test, we're running with it. So now that we've got all this stuff selected, we've basically created the green screen. So the green screen's there, it exists. We'll talk about this here in a minute, and we'll talk about these areas in a minute. But now I just want to go and put something behind me. So if I go back over here to my cut screen, which is right here, I've got that image that I wanted to be in the green screen. So I'm just going to drag that, drop it down into one. Now it's on the first layer, right? So it's on the bottom layer. The video's on the second layer, but I've made the green screen transparent now. So you can see through that top layer to the bottom layer and see that, you know, image that we have on the bottom. I'll go ahead and click this and drag it out so we've got it for the whole video. This is just extending that image. We're just making that image longer so it runs through the whole thing here. Right? Alright, so we basically have a green screen. Now we're going to touch on some smaller pieces to kind of finalize what we got going on over here in the green screen. Cool. Alright, we're going to finish up with power windows and touching on these reasons why these little pieces look like that in the video. So the reason this, first off, is still green, still visible, still there, is because that shade of green, just like whenever I move my arms and the shadow changed, the light is casting a different, you know, reflection off of that. So it's changing the color hue. So it's still in the screen here. So if your green screen's not accurate, you're still going to be able to see the old colors, and it's not going to look good. So hopefully for us, we can go in here and zoom in and see if we can just grab this area and add that color without taking everything else out. I'm pretty sure we'll be able to because the green's on there. Yeah, see, we just clicked it. It goes away with the add color tool. We've got this one little spot here. We click that. I always, you know, suggest check your video, make sure nothing crazy happened where it didn't like take out something over here or select something over here. But boom, so we're good there. Last step that we're really going to get into is the power window, because I'm sure right now you're like, Charles, well, this looks dumb because there's just this one little screen here and I've still got this whole area here and this whole area here that looks like a background. It's not good, right? So what we're going to do is basically take those out. And there's a real simple way to do that. We're not going to get a whole lot into nodes, but this is the nodes area over here. And we have two sides. I like to do things, I could do this all in this one node, but because I like to do things individually like this, I'm taking care of my green screen. I'm going to fix this in a node, and I'm going to fix this in a node. So the first thing I'm going to do is right click, add a node, and a corrector. I'm going to right click, add a node, and a corrector. Now I know you see these cool little color coordinated things again. We're going to go green to green, to green, to green. Look at that. And then blue, to blue, to blue, to blue. Look at that. Bam, we are connected. So basically we're sending the media in, the image and data that we have, we're sending it to this node, we're changing some green screen stuff here, and we're sending that info to here, and then to the output, which is what our final product is. What we're about to do is change a few things in this node and this node. Number one being, we're going to take this node and we're going to correct this area to make the screen full. Super easy to do. Guys, you're going to love this. DaVinci makes it easy. Click this little button. This is your power windows. And I'm going to do this two ways. One on this side, one on this side. The first power window I'm going to do is I'm going to do just the square. It gives me a square. Look at that. Now if I move the square over here, it's selecting what's inside the square. I don't want that. I want it to give me the outside of the square. So I'm going to invert that with that. I'm going to drag this window over, and I'm just going to resize it. What this is doing is it's lidding, or it's taking the bottom layer and covering the top layer right now. Is basically what's happening. I'm just going to pull this out. See how it gives me whatever area? So I'm just going to pull it over right to where it covers that edge. Okay. Boom. That one's done. I'm going to go to my second node. Now we're working on a node by itself. This node controls this. This node controls the green screen. This node is going to control this. But this time I'm going to draw it on. Say you're working with a small area. This time I just want to, I want to click right here. I want to bring it down. I want to click here. I want to click here. And I'm going to bring it up and click there. A lot of clicking going on, right? Bam. Now you're like, oh man, what happened? What did I do wrong? You haven't done anything wrong. We just haven't inverted it yet. So we go down here and we invert it. Bam. Look at that, guys. We have literally created an entire green screen off one shot. Super easy, super simple. There's nothing hard to this. It's just remembering the format, remembering things, playing with it. It's not an exact science. It's playing with, your color selectors, getting the right colors. It's playing with, when you come over here, your clean black, your denoise, your in and out ratios, it's playing with it. Getting it right, getting it accurate, making it work. One cool thing you will have to play with and get used to too. So we did put these windows in here. The reason we did that, this is for like short things. If I'm doing a YouTube tutorial like I'm doing now on the screen, and I wasn't showing you how to edit this stuff, I could take that out because I stay within this box. I would be actively aware of stay within this box. I'll show you why that's important. That's Control F, by the way, makes it full screen. Space to play, and I put my arms up. Notice how those boxes, I put my arms out, it cuts my arms off because it's hiding that stuff, right? That's what's going on. Control F again to get out of that. So be actively aware of that. If you want a full green screen shot, if you get the entirety of green in the background, you don't have to worry about that. But as far as basics, guys, that's about it. Please like and subscribe to the channel. I'll be posting more YouTube tutorials and stuff. Stick around for the end of this for about a couple seconds, and I'll show you what this little scene looks like whenever it's all put together and ready to go. Thank you guys very much. We'll see you next time.